Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Easily Knitfluenced and I'm Michelle if you're new here. So I have a podcast episode for you guys today. I was not planning on filming this today, but I'll get to this. I realized I'd cast on a couple new projects and I was sort of humming on them and knitting away, and they are sort of thicker gauge projects. So I realized I was getting kind of far along in them, and it suddenly occurred to me that I had not filmed anything about them yet. So before we have half a completed object, I figured I would check in and at least show you guys what I'm doing there. The other reason I wanted to film kind of soonish is I got a ring light. So I am hoping that this fixes some of the lighting issues I've had. We get a lot of natural light here, which is great, but it's kind of blinding in the mornings. So it's been tricky to find time where I can film. So I'm hoping that a ring light kind of evens all of that out. Full disclosure, I also got a new mic that I wanted to experiment with. What I didn't realize, and this is because I did not read the specs, is that it doesn't have a USB-C connection to the phone. So lo and behold, today I opened it up and tried to put it in my phone, and connections were not being made. So that was a bummer. I want to test a new mic as well, but hopefully this audio is okay. You guys can hear me. Um, so let's get started. And I'm going to do something a little different today. I don't have any finished objects, but I have some very new whips. So I'm going to start with the new stuff, and then I will update you guys on some of the more longer standing projects that I've had where I've also made some pretty good progress, I think. So I'm going to start with my biggest whip right now, which is right here. This is the start of another Ozetta project. This is the Miles Field jacket. Um, and you can see this is the reason, this is what triggered me filming today. I am this close to joining the front and the back and kind of starting to knit back and forth on the body. So I was like, let me just stop for a second and like update everybody on what I'm doing before this is like a whole garment. Um, so a bit of info on this. I decided to knit another Ozetta pattern because I have a creepy and unsettling obsession with Ozetta now. Um, Half kidding, but you know how there's people out there who will knit everything that Petite Knit releases? Well, it seems that I am that way with Ozetta, so I can never not have less than 2 projects by her on the needles at any one time. So yeah, I finished my Moonset tee in the last episode. So I was like, what else can I cast on from her? And the answer came to me. I really wanted to make a jacket. So I'm going to see if I can kind of drape this over myself. So maybe you guys can see how this will look. Give me a second. Okay, I'm trying really hard not to disturb the mic here. But this is a very, very oversized aran weight jacket. So one of the things I was doing after I kind of, I think, finished off my what I consider my last summer project, which was the Moonset tee, was okay. What am I missing in my wardrobe that could be something neat to knit, and what do I want to cast on next? And the answer is jackets. So I have a lot of sweaters. I have quite a few cardigans now, and I don't really have a ton of casual jackets. So lots of blazers and things I can wear for work and stuff, but yeah, nothing that is really kind of a throw it on and go out with the kids or go to the park or run to lunch kind of garment. So I wanted to make something like that, and this guy had been on my wish list for quite some time, and obviously I love Ozetta, so I thought, great, what better chance than this to cast on something that I know I'm going to get a lot of use out of. And it's an aran weight, so I thought, okay, great, I just finished that tiny fingering weight Moonset tee, so I can move on to this, which will be a nice quick knit, and it really has been. So I am knitting this. I'll show you here. So I am knitting this out of Knitting for Olive merino, the heavy merino, and the matching mohair in the color slate green, which the light is blowing it out a little bit, but hopefully you can see it's this really beautiful, like heathered army green. Just such a lovely color. I saw this in store and I thought, Awesome color, don't have it in my wardrobe, matches with a lot of stuff that I wear, and I think will be very, very wearable throughout the winter months. And then this here is the matching mohair, which the core, so some knitting for olive mohairs have the core filament be the same color as the fluff. Oh, I do not work in fiber production. You know what I mean. This one actually has kind of a white or a lighter core than the rest of the fiber, which normally I don't love, but in this case I actually really like because it sort of matches the heathering of this, meaning that I can kind of keep the heathering without toning it down too much with the mohair. So these two together give me an aran weight gauge, and I know this is going to be so cozy. And that's kind of what I want, is like a one and done jacket that, you know, barring really, really, really sub-zero temperatures, is going to keep me warm outside while I'm running around with the kids or running errands or, you know, dropping them off at school and all that stuff. So I think this will work really well, and it's knitting up really nicely so far. So like I said, I'm about to join the front and the back sections. So far, it is a pretty basic kind of drop shoulder pattern as far as I can tell. So there's nothing too crazy going on. It is very oversized. So I'll try to do this without knocking the mic, but I don't know if you can see here, that is going to be a very deep underarm, which is good. So I could even put a sweater or something under this and, you know, still have it not be bulky and feel gross underneath. So awesome. And then I think I'll knit this to kind of like where the picture is, you know, like past my butt, a little bit past my butt. So, you know, at least the whole torso is going to stay warm. So it'll be sort of an elongated jacket. And yeah, so far, nothing too terribly complicated about this pattern yet. Like I said, I love her pattern writing style. So very typical Ozetta, lots of checkpoints. I find her style of pattern writing quite engaging in that I don't kind of, for lack of a better word, I guess, it keeps it from getting boring because she keeps putting little markers in, like, okay, you're going to do this many increases, repeat that this many times. I much prefer that style to do the increases until you've knit 10 centimeters. And then I'm like, oh my God, okay, I got to get to 10 centimeters now. So that's much preferred, where I can kind of do, you know, little tallies of how many rows I've knit. Definitely prefer that style. So yeah, this is going to be pretty oversized, which I am here for. I met gauge for this, which is great. And I'll just show you, I'll take this off. I will show you what the fabric looks like up close so you can kind of see how that works with the mohair and the merino together. So this is knitting up so fast. I mean, this is, I don't know, a week's work, which, yeah, I don't really knit on aran weight that much, but this is, I am on a US 9 5.5 millimeter needle, which I believe is actually one size down from the suggested needle size. So yeah, usually the most I go up to is a 7, so this is big for me. It does mean my hands get a little tired when when I've been doing this for a couple hours, so I do need to take more breaks than if I was in my usual DK territory, but that might just be because I'm not that used to knitting at this weight, and it just takes a little bit of adjustment from a lot of my smaller needles. But yeah, I'm really happy. So far, this is going great. I'm really excited to get this done. It seems like it'll be quick. And this has pockets, so that's going to be interesting. I've never knit a pocket before. I am curious how useful of a pocket it's going to be, because if I have pockets, I will put stuff in them, and that includes things like my phone and kids' toys and other things that are not like light little dainty things. So I'm curious if these will actually be sturdy pockets or not. So time will tell. We'll see. Either way, I will use them, and hopefully they don't just rip off and fall on the floor. We'll find out. But yeah, this is one of my newest whips, so I'm really, really excited about this one. All right, then new whip number 2, which I will show you now. This is a little newer, but again, I was making good progress on this, and it is a much smaller project. So this is the Harris hood by Coco Amour Knitwear, and you know, I've just kind of finished the increases at the crown here, and I'm just knitting back and forth stockinette until I think I have to do increases in the front and then decreases the back of the neck. But this again, it's coming along really quickly, so I was getting a little worried I'd be too far along in this before I could share it with you guys. And I am knitting this out of Pearl Soho Plenty in the shade Smoky Taupe, which is this 100% merino. This is like an 8-ply or something, so it is like, look at that. It's deliciously squishy. Never knit with this yarn before, so I'm excited to see how this goes, but you can see I actually blocked this section as a swatch. This is it's a very kind of even looking stitch definition. So I'm pretty pleased with this. This pattern, so I've never knit anything by Coco Moore Knitwear before, and this pattern confused me because I foolishly did not really read the instructions properly. It it classifies itself as a DK. So I thought, amazing, DK weight, I will get some DK weight yarn. That should be maybe a skein in a little bit. So I went and bought some really nice yarn actually from Camellia Fiber Co. in a beautiful heathered gray color that I thought would work really well. Swatched and was so far off that I was like, okay, that there's no kind of correcting for this at this point. So pivoted and picked up this yarn from my stash, which I only have one skein of, so I will have to purchase more of this to finish the hood. But this I have knit on this is a US 8 or 5mm needle, which is the suggested needle size. I'm like one, maybe a half stitch off gauge with this, and this is like a worsted, I would call this more of an aran weight yarn. So I'm not entirely sure what this pattern's DK story is about. Maybe in the suggested yarns that is what you would get, but not the way I knit. So that was a little confusing. So if you want to knit this pattern, just be aware of that. It's a 17 stitch gauge, I think, which is, to me, that's like aran, right? Which is why this works. So yeah, I was a little confused by that. If you look at the pictures, it does look like kind of a looser weave, but there was just no way. I was not getting there with the DK. It just wasn't. It was going to be like so gapey that it was not going to work. So and I would have had to go up to like a US 15 or something. So I was like, this is just not, this is not feasible. But in any case, it's a one size pattern. It is well written so far. So have had no confusion whatsoever about any of that. You knit this rectangle and then put the stitches up here on hold, and then you sort of pick up around and start making a couple increases here in the corners, and then you just sort of knit like the hood down from there. And then there's going to be some shaping at the back, and I think you kind of do the ribbing at the front at the very end. So yeah, this one's coming along quite quickly as well, which is nice. So I have a couple of, well, one large and one accessory project that is moving along quite nicely, which is always nice for the momentum. So that is the new stuff. Let's get into some of the legacy whips, which again, I'm making decent progress on. So I will show you guys here. So here you have my progress on the Moonset pullover. So the long sleeve version of the top that I finished last time. This is also by Ozetta. I am knitting this on a US 6 needle, which is a 4mm. And the yarn I'm using for this is Knitting for Olive Merino, the fingering weight, and the matching mohair in the color Bordeaux. So you see how this mohair, the core of it is the same color as the fluff? So yeah, it's different for different colors. So where am I on this? I am basically done with the body, but I would love another inch on here if I can make that happen, but I'm playing yarn chicken now. So I have started on the sleeves. I'm going to see how we do. I'm especially worried actually about the mohair. I think I've got enough merino. The mohair I seem to be running out of quite quickly. So yeah, so I've picked up one sleeve. I don't know, maybe halfway through this one. There are no decreases on the size I'm knitting for the sleeve. So I'm knitting a size medium on this, which should be not like a 0 ease, but less positive ease than I have with the Moonset tee, which was very oversized, which is exactly how I wanted it for a summer garment. So I want this to be kind of snugger and cozier, but it means there's no decreases on the arms, at least for my size. So I think the larger ones do have decreases, but it's basically a tube. I'm knitting a tube, and then I'll have the I-cord bind off. So yeah, this is close to done. I just need to, I've put the stitches at the bottom on hold. I just need to figure out if I'm going to have enough yarn to put on another inch there. I would love another inch. I could make it work without, but it would be ideal if I could at least add a little bit of length to it. I know it'll lengthen with blocking as well, but you know me, I have a long torso, so I like to have a little bit of extra body coverage. But yep, love the pattern. I can't wait to wear this. This actually is one of the most comfortable mohairs. I've tried this on multiple times, just next to skin, like with a bra on, nothing else, and I don't feel any itch whatsoever, nothing. In fact, one of the things I've realized about myself, which is an unfortunate discovery because I've actually knit a lot in this yarn, I am much more sensitive to alpaca than I am to mohair. So most mohairs, like even, you know, ones that have like wool content and aren't just silk and mohair, like the Sadness Garden one, I will feel it. Like it's kind of, I'm aware that it's there on my skin, but it's not an overwhelming sensation. And throughout, you know, after a couple, I don't know, 15 minutes, it just sort of blends away into the background. I don't really think about it anymore. With the alpaca, there's like a, I don't know, there's a denseness to the itch and the kind of the prickle of the fabric that I find really difficult, which is unfortunate because I have an Eva cardigan in like a mostly alpaca blend that I finished a couple months ago and I have not worn yet because I need to basically wear a long sleeve shirt under it because it is too itchy to wear otherwise. So yeah, that's my side note on mohairs. Other projects. Okay, here's another whip. This is the Bruno vest, my never-ending ribbing on the Bruno vest by Morika Knit. And it may not look like it, but I have made progress here. So the last time I showed you guys this, I had finished the ribbing on one arm. Since then, I finished the collar. So I did even more ribbing there, and I have started the ribbing on this side. So like I mentioned in the last podcast, this is not a case of where you can just do this in the round. You need to do all this ribbing first, and then this just becomes part of the body. So that's going to be the armhole like that once I finish this side. But this is on I'm doing the ribbing on like a US 2, and it's all twisted ribbing. This is like, to fold this over, it's more than 40 rows back and forth of twisted ribbing on the tiniest needle. So this may not look like a lot of progress, but for me it is, especially with my aversion to ribbing. But the fold over looks beautiful. I'm so happy with how this is turning out. Like, look at that. Look at how neat that looks. I'm really excited about this. So I'm knitting this in Purl Soho Signet in the color Heirloom White, which is getting very blown out here. It's creamier than it looks on the screen. And on the main body, I'm using a US 5. I'm just doing a much smaller needle for the ribbing on the sides. So I actually think this would, I'm not going to put it on because I think it's going to interfere with the mic, but I feel like this would work really well as like a vest over a top like this even. But this is going to be a real kind of, you know, cross-seasonal item for me. So I will absolutely wear it in the winter over just sort of more closer fitting long sleeve tops. But then once spring comes on its own, this is a cashmere and mostly cashmere blend. So this one, the alpaca content in this doesn't bother me. This is mostly cashmere. I think it's only like 25% alpaca. So this is a lusciously soft and like not at all itchy yarn. I can like, I'm just putting it against my wrist and stuff. I don't feel anything. So this is lovely. I just need to finish the ribbing. It's so much ribbing, guys. And you know my feelings on ribbing. It's like, I don't care about purling. I don't like ribbing. It's not my thing. But I will sacrifice my sanity for this. Look at this finish. Oh, I can't wait till I have the other side done. And then it's just knitting the round stockinette until I get to the bottom, and then I have to do another chunk like this of ribbing. So anyway, it's fine. Because I have a long torso, I get to do a lot of stuff in the round. It's nice. Okay, then we have, okay, this is my gift knit, which again, I've made quite a bit of progress on. So this is the Moby Sweater Man by Petite Knit. This is a gift for my father-in-law, currently a work in progress, and I have joined in the round about, I don't know, 3 inches into knitting in the round. So to all those people who wrote to me very kindly last time and said, trust the process, trust the instructions, thank you, you were 100% correct. I was all nervous and jittery last time because, you know, it was saying connect the front and the back once you've done 10 rows more on the front than the back. But, the repeats for the cables and this section, this is like a 10 row. I think this is a 15. And I was like, I don't understand mathematically how this is ever going to line up to give me the same row where I have to connect the two. But there's a reason Petite Knit is the top of this game. And of course, she did the math better than I could in my sort of fuzzy head. So I did trust the process. It turned out absolutely fine. Yeah, this is coming along, but it now that I've joined in the round, yeah, each round takes me a while because this is a men's sweater large. So there are a lot of stitches on here, let's say. So I think when I get to the end of this current ball of yarn, which I will show you, I'm knitting this out of Lamana Como Grande, again in the color Bordeaux. This is an 8-ply, 6-ply, excuse me. This is 6-ply, 100% merino, and this is a worsted weight, but I'm making it work on this, even though this is technically a DK project. It's fine, it's a little denser, but it's turning out perfectly. Beautiful stitch definition. But I think once I get to the end of this ball of yarn, I might put the body on hold and then just do the collar just for a little break from the giant rounds of knitting. And also because I want to have that collar done to kind of cinch this in, because then I'll be able to do the sleeves more accurately. So yeah, this is turning out really nicely. And I love this pattern so much. I'm kind of like, well, maybe when I finish this, I have to make one for myself. Because who would love this is me. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking now. But now it's just repeating the pattern until this is like, I don't know, 60 inches in length or something crazy like that. So yeah, it's a beast of a project, but I think I am still well on track to get this done by the holidays. So yeah, it's all going to work out. But I'm glad I'm at least going in the round now. It's a lot less kind of much faster, at least, than going back and forth and purling and kind of keeping track of the charts and all that stuff. So very happy with it. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with all my whips right now, actually. I have some inactive ones that I just haven't had much of an update on since I talked to you guys last, so I'll leave those aside for now. That's it for today, I guess. So thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in, as always. If you like this type of content, or if you want me to do other things on this channel, please comment down below. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram if that's your jam. I am going to figure out this whole mic situation and actually test the new mic with a connecting thing that is a USB-C. It wasn't a cheap mic either, which is kind of what annoys me about this situation. But in any case, I will figure it out. I'll get an adapter or something. But in the meantime, thank you guys again for tuning in, and I will catch you next time. Bye for now.